Tonight on Joy News Prime, Vice President visits the community submerged as a result of water spilled by Burkina Faso, compounded by days of rain, and promises the ongoing construction of the Konadu Dam is the long-term solution to the perennial problem.
Deal with this problem fundamentally. We have to have a flood control in the context of the Konadu Dam project.
Meanwhile, the flood victims are being advised not to attempt salvaging their farm produce in submerged areas to avoid more deaths. Exim Bank confirms contract. Also in this bulletin, Exim Bank confirms contractual relationship with dancehall artist Shatta Wale and Kumawood actor Agyemang and the release of some funds to them, but denies the contract is worth 2 million cedis.
We have signed contract with the two artists who are renowned in their own field.
Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, meanwhile, says it is contemplating inviting the musician over the said payment.
To do as a committee is to establish first whether Shatta Wale has received any money at all.
Also, Ningo Prampram MP accuses government of abusing mobile phone subscribers' data under the guise of fighting COVID-19.
My question was very simple, that the Data Protection Commission, which is appearing before Parliament's Public Accounts Committee today, have a responsibility to protect the privacy rights of citizens.
But the Communications Minister has dismissed the claims. And in business?
In business, President Konadu ascends to the Chartered Institute of Marketing bill, paving way for better regulation and transformation of the profession.
We at the Institute are very, very elated. We are so excited about this law. This is because we started pursuing this law before President Prof came into office.
And the running mate to the NDC flag bearer, Professor Nano Agyemang, is upset the NDC's efforts in tackling corruption is not being acknowledged by the public. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Joy News Prime comes to you live from our studios in Kokomilimle on your digital terrestrial TV, because we are free to air on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Thanks for choosing us. In our very first story, Northeast Regional Minister Solomon Boa is warning flood victims in the affected district to desist from trying to salvage their farm produce and other belongings from areas that have been submerged. It's been days of torrential rains, adding to the woes of the residents there after spillage of Burkina Faso's Bagri Dam and one other. Donating relief items to one of the 5 affected districts in the region, the minister told victims there's the need to hold on until the floods have receded so as to avoid recording further deaths.
That the passenger has been cut off completely from the rest of the Mampugu. The passenger is part of the West Mamprusi municipality. So that's the next community from here. So it means that nobody can access any social services from the West Mamprusi municipality coming from the Mampugu Maburi unless the upper East region. So this is the more reason why we keep talking about the Konadu multi-purpose dam, that people should embrace and pray that this construction sees the light of the day to solve this problem once and for all. I can tell you that at the end of the day, when this water is gone, the devastation, the facilities that are going to be destroyed, especially water points, food stuff, is something that you cannot get described. So I want to call on Ghanaians to say a very big thank you to His Excellency the President, especially with those around the Northeast region. There is no politics about it. What we are saying is something that we are all feeling it here. I am very sure that everybody here is just praying that we finish this engagement and leave here within the next 5 minutes. Because everybody is scared about the water. Because we are in the middle of the water. But that is service to Mother Ghana. We are here to let the whole country know that the place is really, the situation is a very terrible one. And I'm sure that our people will listen to the information that is coming from the meteorological department, that we should not take anything for granted going forward, because more rains are yet to come. So if more rains are yet to come, even those who are capable enough and they are these canoe people, please, they should listen to the advice and stay away from the water for some time now. We are just from a funeral house where we are counting the losses of 2 of our brothers who lost their lives because they had to come and take the risk of harvesting their maize. They were good as I believe that they were as good as these people who are also paddling their canoes. We want to encourage everybody that we should stay away from this situation for now, so that when everything goes down, then life can return to normal. This is a force majeure. This is something that is beyond human understanding. And once it's beyond human understanding, nobody has an antidote to it, apart from the fact that we have to ensure that the Konadu Multiple Force Dam construction sees the light of day. This is what I want to leave with every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Some of the flood victims who have been counting their losses have appealed for support.
Oh, the truth. Nobody even get anything. But it was this month, the end of this month, I have like the means will be ready for them to have their life. So even if you go around here, take the plane to run carefully, you see the water. But the people go there, you know. That one day we were going to dig planting first, so they were going to see whether they can try and get some use. So they were in the middle of the water and the ship just then. So they couldn't survive. So I don't think so.
Nobody?
No.
So you said
yes.
How much of that farm is destroyed by water, or all?
There are acres or it's about 7 or 8 acres, 7.5. All is destroyed.
Is it maize or rice?
Yes, maize.
So what will you do now? How will you leave?
Now, only God knows because now it's running them. And they made we have some maize farms around the community. That one to the rain is falling down. The rain is falling every day. That one to is falling now. It's not the water river on side, but the houses from the one that near the farm. The rain to spoil down. For managing, like some of us will run to South do some small job.
Can you speak aloud?
When the dry season comes, some of us will run to South and do some small job.
I heard some because of the water.
Yes, no anything to do, no food, no anything.
So they have to travel.
They have to travel to South.
And you?
Many rooms has been full about uncountable. It's now uncountable because just today now, one store has just fallen at that place by the road. I don't know. Many.
So where do you go?
Well, they have to find some of their relatives and then go to them and then they'll...
Are some people sleeping with you in your house?
Yeah. 5 friends sleeping with me because of that.
Friends?
5 friends.
Vice President Dr. Mamadou Bawumia has meanwhile assured victims of the floods in the Upper East region that government will do everything possible to support them. The Vice President, who is currently on a 2-day tour of that region, made a stop at Kobore in the Boko West district, where a portion of the Bogatanga-Boko road has been washed away, cutting off the eastern part of the region from the capital. He indicated the Kwalugu Dam, currently under construction, is government's long-term solution to the problem. There's more in the following report.
Joy News was at the scene before the Vice President's arrival. A long queue of vehicles was seen along the road, with security personnel mounting a blockade to prevent people from attempting to cross. A gully of about 20 meters had been created on the road, having been washed away by the floodwaters 2 days ago. Most portions of the edges of the road had also been washed away.
Here on the Bolga-Boko road, specifically on the Kobore stretch, where the road has been completely washed off. On the other side of what you are seeing is the Kobore bridge, which earlier in the week had been flooded. So what the police together with NADMO have done is to set up blockades on each side of this broken portion of the road to prevent people from crossing. Now, on the edges of the road, erosion has taken place and the road is gradually just eating away. And considering the fact that this road is currently under construction, this is a major damage.
DD for Boku West, Victoria Ayamba, and the MP, Frank Adongo Fuseni, described the impact of the floods on the district as very devastating.
The farmers have obeyed the protocol because they said they shouldn't farm some particular meters to the river, which they obeyed. But this year, we don't really understand how the flood came and where they were legitimately maybe supposed to farm, the water still got there. The water still got so extensive this time. So I will not blame the farmers really.
Vice President Dr. Muhammadu Baumia, who inspected the damage on the road, said he was saddened by the flood disaster, but assured the chiefs and people of Boku West of government's intervention.
Lost some lives as a result of the rainfall, about 4 from what I hear. 4, right? 4 in upper east, about 4, and 6 in northeast, and 4 in the upper east. And you know, you cannot really calculate that it's huge. You know, 10 lives that have been lost to this disaster. And so we, on behalf of the President, I would like to express our condolences to the families, and we will try as much as possible to do that directly.
He said the Pwalugu multi-purpose dam, which is currently being constructed, will soon end the perennial floods.
We have basically understood that to deal with this problem fundamentally, we have to have a flood control in the context of the Pwalugu Dam project. That is the most important antidote to all of these problems. And that is why we have moved and secured the Pwalugu Dam project. This project is going to be the biggest dam project that we have had in the northern part of Ghana. And the biggest investment is about $1 billion.
Squatters around the Medina Redco flats have accused the police of brutalizing them. The accusation is on the back of a police operation on Monday to clear the squatters from a piece of land they had occupied. That operation resulted in a confrontation and the firing of warning shots, after which the police retreated only to return on Wednesday to arrest over 100 residents. The police say it will continue to investigate the matter and prosecute residents who caused the chaos. Joy News has been interacting with some of the residents.
It is a large swath of land in Medina, which has been home for both foreign and local immigrants for over 2 decades. In their evenings, the location bars with sex workers and their patrons. A group of policemen tried to evict tenants who have constructed kiosks and other makeshift structures where they live with their kith and kin. There was chaos when the residents refused to move out, leading to the discharge of warning shots. 2 days later, more than 20 police personnel, according to residents, armed and with fleet of vehicles, raided the squatters' enclave and arrested over 100 of them. Some of those arrested residents, who were later released by the police, spoke to Joy News.
I was arrested inside the toilet with the police because I wake up, I have a taxi. So as I move from my taxi, say I want to go to the toilet. As I from the toilet, I hear some people were running coming. I say, what is happening? So I don't want to move. The reason why I don't want to run away is I don't wear shirts, so they can even use me to add them. And you see my body, I'm a big man, like somebody who's like that. And they say, So one policeman was coming, I was watching them, what is going on? Because I've been traveling before, so I have to see what is going on. So I just stand like this and watch. One policeman came in front of me. He said, what are you doing? I said, you were there before I came from the toilet. So are you asking me what am I doing? The policeman said I should follow him. I said, my car is in here, so let me go and take the top. They said I should join, they have some black car like Ford Transit. As I joined the car from here in front of this hotel. From this hotel, they drive me directly to the roadside. I said, the policeman, take my car key and what? And give me shirt for me to wear. The policeman slapped me in front of you. I said, officer, I can't even fight you because I respect the uniform you are wearing. If they come out to me one and one, you can't even fight because I don't care who you are. Land. The police are lying. Ask them, say, there is land there. This is the foundation. That man, ask them, the man came here. What happened? The man get his land.
Okay.
The man do the project. It's the same land.
So there are no land guards on this land?
There are no land guards on this land.
Okay.
We don't have land guard. If you have land guard right now, like the land guard will be here. Who is land guard in Medina? Me, I don't know land guard.
Maybe I know. Let me cross a lot coin. Me cross a lot coin.
When I came, I was trying to cross to the other side of the road. I had not done any wrong. Then I heard gunshots and ran back immediately across the metal barriers dividing the road.
Cross away no. So I came
Look at my legs. I had cuts and I fell heavily. I could not even pick my slippers after the policeman held and dragged me. I had not done anything. One of the policemen just pushed me to the ground. When we were arrested and sent to the police station, we were made to lie on the floor and later made to sit. Our pictures were later taken.
What's that? I'm pictures. I'm see. Yes, lie. Around. No,
For those who were spared the arrest, their reservations were regarding how the operation was conducted and complained about how the place they called home was raided by the police and treated like criminals.
The old man that beat yesterday is my father. Oh. Yesterday, the man was sick. You know the work he do, lotto. And the woman, the old lady, she sell bar. She doesn't sell weed. The Monday that they came, we don't know anything about it. They say they are looking for the Bosu people. And we don't know, we all gathered there. So before we see, they started fighting among themselves and the Bosu people, they started fighting among themselves. So we all run, we are running for our lives. So that was yesterday. We are here together. My daddy was inside, he's an old man. He's inside sleeping. Even when the people were there shouting, he cannot run. He's sick. They break the kiosk from the back and they drag him out. If you see the way they treat the man, it's not good. He's an old man. He doesn't look like. When you see the man, you see he doesn't work with armed robbers. So we are like, it's not nice. The way the rumors is going, it's like they're having a problem with the land. The land is for government. We don't know anything about that. Our problem is they should go to the Bosu people and they will tell them. But it's like they're having an argument among themselves and they know them. They should go direct to them. They have the video. They can go through the video and find the faces. All the people that they arrested yesterday, they are innocent.
Actually, I was at home before they called me that there is a certain police people that they came. And the moment before they came, even they said the owner who has here said that we should not argue with anybody. And we too, we didn't come for fight, and nobody too is landed on this land. I was there yesterday standing. Later on, I'll see they said that police. But I was even telling the people that why you people are running. Then people say that they are coming to catch us. So me, I wake up at the machine and turn my back for the machine, looking at them. But later on, I saw that no, they are coming to my side, that they are coming to catch me. And I put my machine off and pass the corner there. The moment I passed the corner there, the policeman chased me, and I saw one kicking someone's door and be entering, packing people's things. And some Nigerian woman too standing before me here, and she said that they went to the woman inside, break the showcase and spoiled her things, started to be packing things outside. Look at my leg. I'm injured. All the races that we went yesterday, all the speed that we went yesterday, they even follow us to our rooms, beating us inside our rooms, bringing us outside.
For the police, they will continue to investigate and prosecute those found complicit in any wrongdoing after the Wednesday raid.
In Parliament, the minority is accusing government of abusing the executive instrument that allows it to gather personal mobile telecommunication data for the COVID-19 fight. Ningo Prampram MP Samuel George claims some of the data being gathered by government is being used for purposes other than what was intended. The EI63 was issued by President about 6 months ago under the Imposition of Restrictions Act to help government contact trace suspected COVID-19 cases. At a sitting of the Public Accounts Committee Thursday, the Data Protection Commission said it is working with some state agencies to prevent the abuse of rights and privacy of customers. But Mr. George says that is not happening and customers' data is being accessed by government illegally. He wants EI63 revoked.
My question was very simple, that the Data Protection Commission, which is appearing before Parliament, Public Accounts Committee today, have a responsibility to protect the privacy rights of citizens. I wanted to find out if the implementing agencies under the Ministry of Communications and any other agencies that are implementing the EI63, if the DPC was doing its job of protecting the rights of the citizens. You realize that they could not give us a definite answer. In fact, the executive director made the point that they were not working with all the implementers of EI63. That should be a source of worry for us, that clearly some state agencies have access to our data that are not under the supervision of the Data Protection Commission. 1. 2, the whole formulation of EI63 is problematic because in establishing EI63, the government takes solace in Article 18.2 of the Constitution and Section 100 of the Electronic Communications Act, Act 775, and basically say that the President has the power to give directives on the basis of national security or law enforcement. However, if you read Section 100 completely, it says that the President has the power to give such directive on the basis of law enforcement and national security with respect to a user. The operative phrase there or word there, pronoun there is a user. So when you have EI63, that then gives power to a state agency under the direction of the President to gain access to all users' data. That is not what the Constitution says. That is not what the Act says. So at the end of the day, you realize that EI63 is an affront to the Constitution and the Act of Parliament.
But Communications Minister Eslo Wusu says the claim amounts to fanciful fears. She tells Joy News the EI is so relevant for the fight against COVID-19.
Somebody has, and the court has given an apt description of people who create their own fallacy and follow it, that it is fanciful fears. They use this same argument about the common platform, drew their own erroneous conclusions from it, spread fear and panic across the length of this country based on their own illusions, which are not borne out in fact. Now, I don't understand if somebody goes to a mobile money vendor to transact business and at some stage is found out to be COVID positive. Wouldn't anybody who was around that vendor at the time want to know whether or not he was also present and in close proximity to that person? Now we're all wearing masks, but at the height of the pandemic, none of us were. And so you could have been exposed inadvertently. So what the law is requiring is for the merchant codes of those who are using mobile money to be also included in the information that EI63 is collecting. How is that information going to help anybody's political campaign? How? So some people with diabolical minds and devious minds have sat there and conjured up all kinds of fanciful scenarios and assumed that everybody thinks like them. We are focused on fighting this pandemic with science and data. That's our focus.
As also come in this bulletin, Exim Bank confirms contractual relationship with dancehall artists Shatta Wale and Kumawood actor Ejako and the release of some funds to them, but denies the contract is not worth 2 million cedis.
Indeed, we have signed contract with the two artists who are renowned in their own field.
And running mate to the NDC flag bearer, Professor Nana Agyemang, has upset the NDC's efforts in tackling corruption is not being acknowledged by the public. All of these plus business shortly after this break.
Welcome to Business here on Joy News Prime. I am Gifty Ando Apia. President Akufo-Addo has assented the Chartered Institute of Marketing Act. This is coming after 2 decades of delay by Parliament in passing the bill. The new law empowers the institute to set standards for the practice of marketing and to regulate the practice of marketing profession in Ghana. My colleague Israel Lai engaged the president of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, Dr. Daniel Kasa, earlier on Business Live.
Introduces new dynamics to the whole thing. I must say that we at the Institute are very, very elated. We are so excited about this law. This is because we started pursuing this law before President Kufuor came into office. And we have followed this up to the point where, you know, His Excellency Konadu came into office and Dr. Matthew Prempe, our sector minister, took this up and championed it until, God being so good, on the 4th of June, Parliament got it passed, and subsequently, 2 weeks later, the President assented to this. It comes as a new law that gives backing to the practice of the marketing profession and also empowers the CIMG, Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, to, for the first time, you know, run professional training programs in Ghana and, most importantly, to award professionally certified certificates here in Ghana. Until now, it may be known to many that the CIMG has been running the Ghana School of Marketing as a tuition center. We prepare students for the SIM UK exam. I did my SIM UK exam in the 90s, and there were professionals in this country to teach the likes of me to take the external exams and pass. Today, as we speak, we have over 1,000, you know, membership, full membership here in Ghana. About a quarter of those are chartered marketers from the SIM UK, who have also acquired higher degrees in addition to their professional certification. So to put it simply, yes, we are very much equipped and ready to do our own local exam.
All right.
So right away, what we did was to start consultations with the traditional and technical universities in Ghana to see how we can collaborate to use these universities as tuition centers to help train students to take the professional exam. Israel, until now, what was the case was this. You either started life as a professional student, pursued until you qualified and eventually chartered. Then along the lines of working in industry, you now went into the universities and did an academic qualification. The direct opposite was a situation where people did their diplomas, degrees, and masters and finished, whilst working, also find hard currency, pound sterling, to also go pursue professional examination. What changes the game here is the fact that once we are able to collaborate with these universities, we are contemplating the possibility of awarding dual qualifications as pertains elsewhere, particularly in the UK.
So some very good news there for chartered accountant and for accountant who wants to now charter. Gloria Adai, or the head of customer experience at Wutriye Lotteries, Richard Akoto Banfo, has announced Gloria Adai as winner of the 20,000 Wutriye jackpot. Wutriye Lotteries, which operates through the short code *787, has come to change the face of lottery in Ghana. Mr. Akoto made this statement when he presented the cash prize of 20,000 cedis to the winner, Gloria Adai, last week.
According to the company, the mobile lottery platform has been able to transform the lives of many Ghanaians since it was introduced into the country. This follows the quest to reward winners in a draw which is organized every week. Here's Head of Customer Experience at Wutriye, Richard Akoto Banfo.
Just as other people won 200 Ghana cedis this Tuesday, this is your opportunity. Don't waste it. Just dial *787# now for just a ticket at 5 Ghana cedis only, and you can be the next winner.
Okay. Do you believe Wutriye Lotteries is changing the lottery game in Ghana?
I believe with a mobile phone number, you can win as huge as any other person also participating or who has won. Wutriye Lotteries has come to change the game of lottery and the face of lottery in Ghana. It is competent, it is real. People are winning. Take your chance and opportunity now, and you can win big as well.
In an ecstatic mood, Gloria Adade, who received the cash prize, encouraged Ghanaians to be part of Utriye Lotteries, as it is the most legitimate lottery company in Ghana.
What I'll tell everybody is the lottery is real. A lot don't believe it. Me, myself, I didn't believe it. But when I tried my hands on it, I got to know that it is real. So everybody, I'm encouraging everybody should try their hands on it, so that they can also win one day as I've won today.
Saturday is another opportunity for potential winners to be announced.
Congratulations to Gloria there. Before we go for this hour, in our local summaries tonight, we'll tell you how the establishment of radiation facilities could prevent post-harvest losses.
Ghana lured investors towards power industry to end chronic electricity shortages with deals it can no longer afford. The deal's terms require the government to pay for electricity generated even if there's no demand for it. The move helped Ghana end its power crisis by 2016, boosting its generation to about 4,600 megawatts, but the debt owed to the power companies has grown, rising to 1.4 billion at the end of June, more than doubling from 600 million in July last year, according to the Chamber of Independent Power Producers, Distributors and Bulk Consumers. Ghana is in the process of developing 2 genetically modified organisms GMOs varieties for rice and cowpea. Dr. Richard Ampedwa-Meyao, a senior research scientist at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research CSIR, who announced this, said research had proved that GMO varieties were important in the sustainable production of rice and cowpeas in the country. He added that it is important for Ghanaians to accept and embrace GMO technologies in order to match up with the world's technological advancement. The Ghana Atomic Energy Commission is pushing for the setting up of radiation facilities across the country to support the food export market as well as prevent post-harvest losses. According to the Commission, radiation is one of the best methods to address the perennial post-harvest losses recorded by farmers yearly, and it's about time the nation gave it some serious attention.
And that'll be it for me. From now, I'll be back after 8 with more on business. I'm Gifty Ando-Apia.
Thank you for staying with us on Joy News Prime. Gary Al Smith here with the sport. And in our continuing build-up to Joy Sports documentary by Nathaniel Atto on the life of DK Poison, the legendary boxer, we speak to somebody who knows him well. Amate Amatefio says that DK Poison was an extraordinary boxer, and he also has a bit of detail on something he used to do back in the day.
It was huge. It was momentous to have this ultimate realization of a world champion, not created politically outside the ring, but inside the ring. Incidentally, DK Poison's hand was not raised in the ring.
Tell me about that bit as well.
His hand was raised as champion in the dressing room.
Why?
Now, DK Poison, like Azuma Nelson, defeated a Mexican hero. He was invincible up to that time. He was really iconic. He was big. So defeating him in Los Angeles, full of Mexicans and Latinos, the arena was full of them, was not acceptable to the fans. So they rioted. They threw chairs, you know, they couldn't accept it. So in the confusion, DK Poison had to be taken out of the ring. The police intervened. Atukwe Clotte, the coach at that time, was hit on the head And we believe that eventually that led to his
Hit on the head
with a chair. Yes, with a chair.
To athletics, and a couple of weeks ago here at Joy Sports, we marked what was decades, or actually the 45th anniversary of the first gold medal won at the Commonwealth Games. That was by Oko Adi, the husband of the late Professor Rama Adi. You remember he mentioned in that documentary that since then, athletics in the country has taken a dip. Well, in reaction, an official of the Ghana Athletics Association, Bawa Husseini, says that the lack of government support is a big reason why this is so.
To the 60s, the state has so much interest in sports. So the state gave them the support. Look at the 1964 All-African Games. Look at the 1960s, how Ghana were doing well, even to the early 70s, 74, up to 78. Ghana was the force to reckon with in sports, not only in athletics, in boxing, and in football, even in cricket. By that time, the state has so much interest in it. But this time around, the state interest has waned down. Everything is left for the federation to fight for itself.
Bawa urged the government to help the Athletics Federation, especially during competitions.
Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, Commonwealth Games, All-African Games, the financial model that federation needs to go and win a medal go beyond the federation step. It needs state to support. So those days, those years, state was sponsoring, state was supporting. But now it's not the same.
The Ghana Athletics Association has not received any relief package from the World Athletics as a result of the financial distress caused by the coronavirus pandemic.
So that's the sport for now. I'll be back on the other side of it to give you more, especially involving Heart of Folk and Joy Sports coverage of the European football season. Gary Al Smith here. Thank you for your time.
For the interactive segment, showbiz. I'm so much in a hurry to get interactive. But
yeah.
Becky, what's up in showbiz?
Let's congratulate Stonebwoy, our boy, president of the BIM Nation. He has, I mean, a lot of people are congratulating him on social media. He's been signed on to Techno Mobile. He's the new face of Techno Mobile. And
okay.
We say a very big congratulations to Stonebwoy.
BIM.
I would have played a song from Stonebwoy, but Aisha, this evening let's just move on. Let's talk about move away from Stonebwoy and talk about R2Bs. Remember R2Bs?
Oh yeah.
So we've been saying that they've been out for a very long time. They haven't been up to anything, but they're telling us that they are bringing up an album. So R2Bs, Omar Sterling is part of R2Bs, right? He's bringing up an album, listen, and R2Bs as a duo group will be bringing up an album as well. And Moogie's has an EP to be released in December. So a lot of things happening
at the same time.
At the same time, like within three months. We have a report for you. R2Bs there. We can't wait for this particular project.
Definitely
massive.
so.
You know, so we're getting something for this month. We're getting something next month and December.
The following month.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about Kelvin Boy. Remember Kelvin Boy?
Yes, of course.
So back on social media, I didn't really talk about this because, well, there's nothing much to talk about. Stonebwoy and Samini, you know, having, you know, their own thing.
Negative,
you know,
stuff.
Yeah. So Kelvin Boy had endorsed Samini's song on social media, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's ganging up with Samini against Stonebwoy." So we asked Kelvin Boy, was that, you know, really the case? Let's move away from what's negative.
Between Stonebwoy.
I mean,
it's been way back.
Yeah.
They should just move on.
I have forgotten about it. I'm sure. I mean, Let's just stop it.
They should just move on and,
and be peaceful like myself and Aisha.
We
and
love each other's keeper.
Mwah, mwah.
And that'll be it for Showbiz. Thank you so much, Becky, for bringing us Showbiz. And that'll be it for Showbiz. We'll right now to the rest of our stories. In Zabzugu Senior High School, St. Francis Xavier and St. Charles Minor Seminary are winners of the one preliminary NSMQ contest held in the Northern Region today. Coordinator for the regional preliminary, Stephen Yankee, says although some contests didn't meet his expectations initially, it was a truly exciting day. He gave further highlights as he spoke with Joy News.
Today's contest. Well, today has been very exciting. We've had 3 contests that really showed that schools were preparing for the prelims up here in the Northern Zone. When we started the day, just on a good note, we had Zabzugu Senior High School, Gori Senior High Technical School, and Ambaria Senior High School. And Zabzugu really gave us a good contest. You know, during the regional qualifiers in February, they lost to Northern School of Business, but because their scores were so high, they were part of 2 top runners-up who got a wild card entry into the competition. And today, they really proved that they deserve to be at this stage. And now we've seen how they've qualified in impressive form for the 1A stage of the competition. They were the first school, in fact, nationwide, to win the new prize, the Gold Riddle Bonanza, by answering 3 riddles correctly in the final round. And that is very impressive. In the second contest, we saw a really shaky start. All 3 schools did not perform well. In fact, it was disappointing to see how low the scores were at the end of round 1, considering schools like Francis Xavier, who have been to the finals before and are a powerhouse when it comes to this competition. The start was slow for Francis Xavier, but they warmed up into the competition. They won with 49 points. Tamale Girls placed second with 24, and Zamsi Senior High Technical School placed third with 21 points. Because of their impressive points, we saw that St. Francis Xavier today won the Airtel Tigo Highest Score of the Day Award, 1,000 Ghana cedis to the team from St. Francis Xavier in Wa. And then the last contest for the day, St. Charles Minor Seminary beat Damango and Wale Wale Senior High Technical School, 35 points, not bad at all. In that contest too, it was slow from the beginning, but the speed race was good, the riddles weren't bad at all. And it shows that the schools really were preparing for the competition. They really put in a lot of work, and it paid off when they came on stage.
Let's now see the results of all contests that happened today. And the broadcast of 2020 National Science and Maths Quiz is brought to you by Joy News, your most credible news channel, and supported by Bright Senior High School, Kukurintumi, building dreams, shaping future. DBS Roofing, Roofing Papa Pathie, Adonko Hand Sanitizer, Korompo Suro, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, the premium energy drink. Chairman of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, James Kluja-Aveji, says he will take a decision next week on whether to summon musician Shatawale over the alleged payment of 2 million Ghana cedis to him by the state-owned Exim Bank. Kumbungu MP Ras Mubarak made the claim at Wednesday's sitting that the amount has been paid to the musician for his services as brand ambassador. The Exim Bank deputy CEO, however, says they have no direct dealings with the musician and that they rather engage the services of a media consultancy firm to recruit brand ambassadors. James Aveji tells Chori News the committee is still waiting to get evidence from the Kumbungu MP before it can act.
What we need to do as a committee is to establish first whether Shatawale has received any money at all. 2, where did he receive the money from? Is it directly from the Exim Bank or from the consultants who Exim Bank claim they have engaged?
Even the consultants paying it will still be Exim Bank and for that matter state funds, which is why you still be.
Yeah, so when Exim Bank, when we confirm that, and then it's confirmed that Shatawale received the money from the consultants, we then find out how the consultant was procured. Was the consultant procured through the correct processes? Then to also ask the Auditor General to determine whether the work that the consultant is procured to do merits the amount that the charge. So whatever happened between the consultant and then the Shatawale will be on that level. But if it is confirmed that Shatawale actually received check from Exim Bank, there is a different matter altogether.
There's a possibility of him being asked to come respond and possibly refund some of those sums.
Well, if he determined that the way he did, as compared to the amount he received, it does not merit it, then he might be asked to refund.
But for now, you don't want to establish
no, we haven't done that yet.
Yeah, whether really the said amounts were paid to him.
Yes.
And if necessary, and you need to get him himself, Shatta himself, to come clarify things, the committee will be asked.
No, what I'm saying is that, first of all, you need to establish that he received the money. The source from where he received the money. The way he did merit that money, or he does not, before the issue about he coming to respond will come in.
So when do you hope to finish with all of these works so that
I can't give timeline because most of the work cannot be done directly by the committee because we don't do directly that. We ask the Auditor General to do that work.
Exim Bank has meanwhile confirmed it has engaged dancehall artist Shatawale and one other entertainer as brand ambassadors. Corporate Affairs Manager Richard Anani will not disclose the contract sum but indicated 15% has been advanced in fulfillment of the bank's contractual obligations. In an interview with Joy News, Mr. Anani, however, denied the contract is worth 2 million cedis.
Indeed, we have signed contract with the two artists who are renowned in their own field, but they have not even started their roles.
But have you paid them anything?
For the fact that it's a contractual agreement between two parties, Evans, we are a bank, we cannot disclose any content. But we signed an agreement.
Okay, so there are two levels of this question. There's a question about how much, and there's a question about have you paid? Have you paid anything?
Evans, we have signed a contract with the two artists.
Which has a cost element to it.
Yes, but Evans, we have contract obligations. We cannot disclose the amount. But all that we want to state is that the amount quoted is not correct.
Okay, so if it's not correct, then what is it?
Evans, I can't disclose it because of contractual obligations.
Okay,
it is not obligation to do that.
Okay. So
I can tell you that we have passed through the procurement procedures to arrive at where we are. It is not true.
Okay. So you can disclose the amount, but definitely it's clear, isn't it, that yes, they haven't started the work, but they have there's at least an upfront payment of a sort.
Evans, in terms of contract management, if you sign an agreement with a consultant or a service provider, there's a percentage that you have to advance. Okay, they have deliverables that they will have to deliver before, and this is a 1 year contract.
So what percentage of the total cost have you paid to Shatawale, for example?
I can't disclose that because
you can't tell me the amount. You can't also tell me what percentage.
It's not right.
Parliament's Public Accounts Committee has assured the Graphic Communications Group debt owed by Parliament for newspapers supplied to the House will be paid soon. The debt for newspaper supply since May this year was disclosed by Managing Director of the Graphic Group, Ato Afo, when he appeared before the committee on Thursday. Chairman of PAC, James Aveji, assured the money will be paid.
In May of this year, 2020. This was following an appeal to the Speaker, the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, when he visited us for our anniversary lunch.
Okay. So after that appeal, payment was made. So after that, no other payment. Have you made any follow-up again? And then what was the response from the account section of Parliament?
Honourable Chairman, we've been following up and they've indicated to us that they would make payments in due course.
The National Pensions Regulatory Authority also appeared before the committee. Responding to questions on what can be done to ensure pensioners live comfortably, Deputy Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Bright Rekubrobe, urged individuals to take payment of Tier 3 pension contributions seriously.
People's ability to front up payments is always problematic. And pension payments are just in the form of taxes. They are like taxes. And so you need to go after the person, and the person would pay. In the case of pensions, it is the person's own benefit when he or she retires. The Tier 1 and 2, the law has been so clear, and that you like it or not, it will be deducted. But the one that you voluntarily have to go and pay. So pension funds are a direct result of how much you earn. So the person looks at his income and says, I should go and pay this money whilst he sees pension in the next 20 years. He or she doesn't want to pay. So it's a national concern. And I think through this medium, we should be encouraging people to think about pension. It's not too far off. I was thinking of something else. 35 years ago, it was not pensions. Now I'm getting closer, and you start thinking that you need to look at your future. So we have to let people know that it's a function of your salary and also your future.
And on your election headquarters, President Akufo-Addo has called on traditional authorities to speak out against matters affecting the development and growth of the country. According to him, the chiefs have a responsibility to voice out their sentiments on matters of corruption, crime, illegal mining, and other vices. Inaugurating the Bono East and Bono Region's House of Chiefs, the president, who is on a 6-day tour of the region, said government will rely on the wise council of chiefs in fashioning out development initiatives for the country.
I'm aware, Nananom, that the Constitution of the Republic forbids you to engage in partisan political activity, but your involvement in the public life of our country derives naturally from your position as traditional rulers. It is thus my hope that members of this august House will help set the tone in their areas of influence to help realize our vision for a progressive and prosperous Ghana. Government is determined to bring governance closer to the people and expand the boundaries of democracy in our country. We're counting on you to help shape and integrate yourselves into these developments so that the peculiarly Ghanaian contribution to the concept of governance, which emanates from the integration of royal aristocratic institutions into the fabric of a Republican democratic framework, will be enhanced and strengthened to the benefit of the Ghanaian people. I urge you to speak out and join government's fight against the ills of our society, corruption, social and economic injustice, crime, and the illegal menace we call galamsey. As chiefs, you have a responsibility, as was done in the days of our forefathers, to help preserve our lands, water bodies, and environment.
The inauguration became necessary following the heaving off of the 2 regions from the previous Bono Ahafo region. The president also announced Agenda 111, which will see the construction of a regional hospital as well as district hospitals in the regions.
I'm happy to inform Nananom that a regional hospital will be built for the Bono East region as part of government's Agenda 111. Which, in the course of the next 12 months, will see to the construction of 100-bed district hospitals in 101 districts with no hospitals, 7 regional hospitals for the new regions, including 1 for the Western region, the construction of 2 new psychiatric hospitals for the Middle Belt and Northern Belt respectively, and the rehabilitation of Afiankwanta Hospital in the Western region. The districts without hospitals in the Bron East region, which will be covered by Agenda 111, are in Kranza North, Sene East, Kachima North, and Pru West. Further, Nananum, I take the opportunity of this platform to give you a brief account of some of the principal activity projects being executed in the region, with 170 completed and the remaining 170 ongoing. Out of the 170 completed projects, 60 are in the educational sector, 17 in the health sector, 9 in the road sector, and 37 in the water and sanitation sector. The 170 ongoing projects comprise, amongst others, 50 in the educational sector, 8 in the health sector, 2 in the road sector, and 62 in the water and sanitation sector. With 4 more for Nana and the MPP, we will do even more for you.
John Mahama's running mate, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang, has fumed over what she says is the failure of CSOs to raise concerns about corruption in the Akufo-Addo government. Professor Opoku-Agyemang says the erstwhile John Mahama administration tackled corruption decisively, citing a declaration of assets by then government appointees and the prosecution of NDC officials involved in acts of corruption. She charged civil society organizations to be bold and criticize President Akufo-Addo of his inability to deal with acts of corruption, which she says has contributed to the poor performance of the country's Corruption Perception Index ratings. She was speaking to officials of the Ghana Integrity Initiative as part of her working visit to civil society organizations.
Important that we apply rules fairly in our judiciary system. Are the laws applied fairly? When they are not applied fairly, you also open the doors to corruption. When people don't feel they are included in what is going on, or that they are not respected, or when people feel that their voices don't matter, you are also creating the windows for corruption to thrive. So yes, it's about the money. That's very important. That's critical, number one. But it's also about people feeling that they are obligated to be transparent, because they see that those who are not transparent are punished. When we are talking about Operation Sting, it's not coming from nowhere. In our previous government, you saw our president prosecute his own. Has that continued? So you see, when we get to a place where we say, oh, on the CPI we are 40% and so, please don't generalize. Let us know, where were we at what time? Let that be a kind of incentive for parties even to compete that, oh, in my time, I was high. But if you generalize that it's all of us are, then we're all in this together, so you can relax. And that generalization, I think, is not helpful. So let us know who's been able to prosecute his own, who has not been, and what has been the response to that. So it's not all the same. If it's all the same, this whole thing is a waste of time, and I don't think it is. The differences are there, the weaknesses are there, the strengths are there, we can strengthen them, the gaps are there, we can close them, and that way we can make serious progress in our country. Otherwise, oh, you are obi aneba nyensi ebeyeden. Wanya kura butuma mawai papa.
Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang also criticized what she described as selective application of the law, saying it amounts to corruption. Her comments come on the back of recent attacks targeted at the judiciary by Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan, for which he has rendered an apology. Professor Opoku-Agyemang believes the law must be evenly applied, as happened in the Muntie 3 case.
If you're going to talk about name and shame, it should be consistent. If you're going to apply the laws, it should be consistent. If you're going to apply the punishments, it should be consistent. If you say somebody has scandalized the law courts and you allow the process to go through, the person has apologized, has done everything, the law took its course. The person was fined, the person was sentenced, the person is in prison. You say, okay, clemency. It is part of the judicial system to apply for clemency, and people pretend they don't understand why there should be a petition. Another person does the same thing, also scandalizes the court, and just say, so he's come to apologize, so it's okay. That is corruption. And I want to see that also highlighted. That is corruption. You are not allowing us to abide by the rules of telling the truth. So these are the things that I think we should be very, very sharply focused on in order to move on. Otherwise, you see, it creates a kind of cynicism among the youth. And that's dangerous. These are the future. And if they already don't believe in anything, then it's as if we are sitting here creating like a refugee camp where people have no future and therefore they can destroy anything. That should not be our bane.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of GII, Lindo Forukwafu, observed that in spite of efforts by government, the canker remains a challenge. She believes the lack of political commitment in the fight against corruption is making the practice more attractive.
We are all aware that corruption affects development. It causes conflict and erodes the trust of citizens in government. In Ghana, despite efforts by our government to put in place institutions and legal frameworks to address the canker over the years, truth be told, corruption is still a problem in our dear nation. As a result of inadequate, if not lack, of strong political commitment to sanction the corrupt and ensure the recovery of stolen wealth. Ghana's score on the 2019 Corruption Perception Index, though higher than some other countries in the sub-region, was 41 out of a clean score of 100, a score even below the global average, and a real cause for concern for all of us as a people. If you are scoring 41 out of 100, then I'm sure as a country we all know we are not doing very well. As we go into the December elections, it is important to note that corruption remains a major issue for citizens as it affects efficient and equitable service delivery with implications for their quality of life.
MPP MP for Kede Kwabena Agyemang is calling on government to reopen schools as he cautions waiting till January 2021 will negatively impact the academics of the students. The NPP MP says schools have shown the health and well-being of students can be adequately protected even in this era of a pandemic. He explains the flouting of the COVID-19 protocols is a lot worse at home.
The schools should be given an opportunity to reopen, especially those who are still waiting. I'm saying this on the basis of the fact that initially there were all speculations as to whether there will be a success in the schools running properly. And this test has been proved. Now we have the SSS students having finished their exams. The JHS 3 people have also gone through all the preparation, and by next week they are finishing, and we have not had any serious casualty. The position I am inferring is that then why don't we still go by the various good measures that we have put down to make sure that we can move the process a little faster
and open the primary schools,
not necessarily the primary schools, but at least the SS1 and sometimes JSS2, so that these people will also follow the scheme. Now, it is our prayer that the good God that has saved all these children through this process will keep us on. We don't hope to pray for doom, whereby we are expecting casualties. The important point is that let us put the necessary processes through and then move on. Now, I'm saying this on condition that even parents are now complaining that the children have spent more time in the house than necessary.
The multimedia group is partnering the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and Coalition for Event Managers and Suppliers to embark on an intensive public education for COVID-19. The campaign, which is also a collaboration with the Creative Arts Council, is seeking to mobilize and distribute free face masks to the poor and vulnerable who cannot afford masks, as well as education on the appropriate wearing of face masks to help prevent coronavirus infections. The group visited Weija Leprosarium, Ghana Prison Service, and Street Children, and donated some face masks to them. Pakwesi Akom is the channel manager for Joy Prime and spoke for the multimedia group.
First of all, I want to thank God for this special occasion. It's quite honoring to be part of this wonderful initiative. And I want to thank Father Campbell for accepting us into his space, Christ the King, for this presentation. My brother Kabute has said it all. I want to take the opportunity to actually thank the Masks for All initiative for allowing us as a media house, multimedia group, to be part of this wonderful and laudable idea. So far, we have received a lot of masks based on the kind of promotions we did. And on behalf of my immediate boss, Abdullah Awudu, who happens to be the GM for Adum Brands and the acting GM for the Joy Brands, entire Joy and Adum Brands of the multimedia group, our bosses who have made it possible for us to be part of this wonderful idea. I want to say a big thank you to all the people who have donated masks across the length and breadth of this country. We've received from Kumasi, from the Ashanti region specifically, from the eastern region, from the western region, from the central region. People have really shown love to us. And this is to actually also support the vulnerable. And like our campaign has been, it's just the beginning. We are still receiving masks, so if you're out there and you have the opportunity to grant us masks, donate masks to us, please. We are always ready to receive those masks. And at the right time, we will share to the vulnerable. Thank you very much.
Kabuto Kanse represented the Coalition for Event Managers and Suppliers.
Come here as the Mask for All Coalition through the partnership we've had with Accra Metropolitan Authority, the Creative Arts Council, and very, very critically, multimedia broadcasting led by Joy Prime. We're here today to fulfill one of the key aspects of this whole initiative, to actually donate the masks to various groups who need them the most so that it can extend the objective for which this whole initiative was started. So today we are blessed to be here with Father Campbell to present to himself and to the beneficiaries of a soup kitchen program, but as well through him we know that he's been very instrumental in spearheading efforts towards supporting the various leprosaria across the country. So we also have masks donated for the various leprosaria, and we would hand over that to Father Campbell for the various centers across the country. We would as well have here representatives from the Department of Social Welfare who would also receive masks on behalf of the various orphanages across the city to help them also protect themselves. And then as well we have representatives from the Accra Rehabilitation Center who would also be receiving masks on behalf of the various disability groups who would also are key beneficiaries in our endeavor. And then finally, we also have representatives of some NGOs who work closely with the various headquarters associations, that is the KIAs. So essentially, that's what we are here today, to present the masks and to show evidence to all of Ghanaians about the goodwill they have expressed in donating the masks, that the masks have actually been handed over to those who need them the most.
We're still live on Joy News Prime, but Father Andrew Campbell expressed their gratitude for the gesture.
All I can say, I'm very, very, very grateful to them, and I thank them very much, because we all know the need of our masks, to wear our masks at all times because of the pandemic that we're going through, this not normal times, that this normal time we're going through, this wearing our masks, that we need masks. And these children are on the streets. They cannot afford masks. They cannot afford them. They're on the streets, they're cleaning windows of cars, they're begging here, and they cannot afford them. And every day we should take care of 200 children, 200 every day. So all we can do is to say a big, big, big thank you to the events personnel, and to thank on behalf of the lepers too in the various settlements all over the country that will be sending them all their masks over the next week to be able to keep themselves free from this virus, is to say a big, big, big thank you. And also to say thank you to all the benefactors and all those who've been supporting us, since the lockdown. These children have been on the streets. We've been able to feed over 35 to 40,000, since the past few weeks. And people have been very generous, extremely generous to us, giving us money, giving us food, all the things they've done for us in the past months since the lockdown. All I can do is to say a big thank you, that they're thinking of the disadvantaged, the marginalized, those forgotten in society.
The Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, James Opon-Bueno, has disclosed that personnel who stayed at posts in the Upper West region in the coming week will all be promoted. He says it is the policy of the service that personnel who serve in rural communities should have the promotion first before their counterparts in the cities. Mr. Opon-Bueno made the disclosure at WA when he called on Upper West Regional Minister. Joy News' Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
This is the maiden visit of James Opon-Bueno to the Upper West region since he took over the position of the Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service. His visit to the region is to assess the operational capacity of personnel in the region and their preparedness towards the 2020 general elections. He first paid a courtesy call on the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali, who commended personnel in the region for the tremendous work they are doing to make the region peaceful. Dr. Bin Sali said, despite the good works by the police, they are confronted with lots of challenges ranging from inadequate personnel and vehicles and lack of a regional command headquarters.
Most of the times, people who are posted to the Upper West region refuse to come. Maybe secretly you take certain actions that we are not aware of. But we are not pleased about that development. It is the opposite. When people are transferred out of the region, if they get the message, within 24 hours, they leave the Upper West region. Since the creation of the region, we have not been able to construct a decent office accommodation for the regional police command. Something was started a few years ago, and as of now, work has stalled. I want you to use your good offices to ensure that the Upper West region gets a befitting office accommodation for the regional police command.
Inspector General of Police James Opon-Bueno stated that personnel posted to the region have not been forgotten of. He said it is now a policy of the service that personnel serving in rural communities and in the hinterland will have their promotion 1 year before their counterparts in the cities.
If you are posted to WA or any of the areas under it, as well as in other the northern regions and other areas that we consider as deprived, you spend 3 years, you get promoted. So if 2 officers pass out from the training school, one is posted to Tema, one is posted to WA. The one in WA, after 3 years, will get promotion to the next rank. And then the one in Tema will have to wait another year. It is a means, a policy that we are designing to ensure that people, to motivate people who are here. We actually recognize the work they are doing, and we think that they should be motivated to do better. That will curb the syndrome of people going on portmanteau transfers, their reliefs not coming. What we refer to as portmanteau transfers is that we transfer the man, he picks the portmanteau, and then he leaves hurriedly. But we believe that with that, we should be able to curb that. In fact, that would be very, very, I'm sure by next weekend, you will hear that all the officers who have spent 3 years in their ranks in WA and in the whole of Upper West region will be promoted.
IGP Opon-Bueno also spoke about the construction of the new Upper West Regional Police Headquarters, which has been abandoned.
What I'm told is that the contractor has been cushioned to go back to the site, and I'm told that he has gone back to the site. But I'll go there to check on it. It's a project that we are so much worried about, because anytime we go for a police council meeting, I have to report on that.
Reporting for J News, Rafik Salam.
I'm back here in Accra and in the studio. My name is Aisha Brown. We'll take a break on Joy News Prime. When we return, there is more business.
I'm back with more in business right now. I'm Gifty Andopia. In this edition, hoteliers along the Volta River in the Sautong district are calling on the assembly and government to fix the road leading to their hospitality space. According to the manager of Sogakopa Beach Resort, Kafui Paku, state agencies come to their premises on the bad road to collect tax and other statutory fees, but never bother to fix their roads. He says the road will be a big cost to them. It costs them in excess of 1 million Ghana cedis, which they cannot afford.
You know, the distance from town to to this place is so far.
Yeah, the place is isolated.
We've tried a couple of times to guess estimates to see if we could fix it ourselves. But
how much is it? Tell me.
What we got, if we sell this place, I'm not even sure we'll be able to afford
fix the road.
The road. So the concentration, you know, the main road there is a government road.
Yes.
That links the Aflau.
Yes.
Yes. So the concentration now is
from the junction there.
From the junction here to the resort.
That one you can afford to do it yourself.
So there are plans to work on that one. Try to engage the district assembly to help us work on the road, but it looks like at the moment the equipment that we need to use, they don't have them. From the barrier to the college, the nursing college on the road there is being worked on, and then somehow we got the machine to work on the road to cost us close to 1 million Ghana cedis.
And on to some rather bad news. Tallow oil made a loss in excess of over $1 billion according to its half-year results. Revenue was, however, estimated at $731 million. The loss, according to the firm, was driven by exploration write-offs and impairment, totaling $1.4 billion before tax. Next, a summary of the half-year result and the outlook for the rest of the year. That's information from Tallow Oil PLC. Now, a lot more banks in the country are now set to fully implement a work-from-home policy post-COVID-19. That's one of the findings of the new PricewaterhouseCoopers 2020 Banking Survey report. George Raffi has details.
The survey engaged chief executives, chief finance officers, technology officials, and operational heads through interviews from 16 commercial banks in the country during the lockdown period. According to the survey, most of the banks were planning to fully adopt the strategy because of how their dealings were impacted during the lockdown period. Following this development, majority of the banks were working to invest more technology when it comes to their service delivery channels. Almost 70% of the banks surveyed have even gone ahead to permanently incorporate remote working for their staff based on their roles. Some of the banks were also working to review their fiscal growth strategies in terms of branch opening, as they are now looking at depending heavily on technology when it comes to engaging their customers and the public. PricewaterhouseCoopers in the survey noted that this move by the banks could also impact on tax collections and revenue mobilization for the country. Despite the expected savings and efficiency of this remote working, most of the banks were worried about the impact of this on jobs, as some of them look at the situation where they might have to lay off some of their staff as a result of this development. For instance, 3 out of 5 banking chiefs interviewed were also worried about the increasing cyber attacks due to this remote working. From the PricewaterhouseCoopers flagship banking survey report, most of the banking chiefs were looking at things stabilizing the next 3 years in terms of them recovering fully from the shocks of COVID-19.
George Rafit with that report. And before we go, the Takwa municipality is one of the MMDAs in the Western region to have recorded high positive cases of COVID-19 during the peak of the pandemic. Today, the municipality has only 3 active cases, a huge sigh of relief for residents there. The Municipal Health Directorate as well. But the Municipal Health Directorate for the area, Director for the area, Caroline Nishen Otu, is warning against continuous non-adherence to protocols and the opening up of the population. She was speaking at the handing over ceremony of ambulances by Goldfields Ghana Limited to the Directorate.
Caroline Otu, like President Akufo-Addo, is warning against continuous non-adherence to COVID-19 protocols, as she says now that the society seems to be opening up, a spike could be in sight. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic, hospitals in Takwa struggled responding to emergency situations. The pandemic worsened the situation, but the hospital is now receiving 2 new ambulances from the Goldfields Ghana Foundation. At the handing over ceremony, Caroline Otu emphasizes the number of health workers who were affected by COVID-19. She says with the ambulances received, she strongly believes the Health Directorate will be swift to respond to emergencies.
COVID-19 took a toll on the municipality, and health workers were not spared. PPEs to the health service has gone a long way to reduce prevalence of COVID-19 among health workers in the municipality. These ambulances will go a long way to enrich our response to cases which need to be evacuated from communities. COVID-19 pandemic appears to be hibernating. However, with the opening up of the population, a spike is anticipated.
General Manager Takwa Mines Stephen Osei-Bempa says the presentation is just one of the many interventions by Goldfields to improve healthcare delivery in their host communities.
Since Goldfields employs over 69% of its workforce from the host communities, providing health support to our communities simply means that we are taking care of our own. We are here to present 2 brand new, fully equipped Mercedes-Benz ambulances to the Apinto Hospital and the Takwa Insayim Municipal Hospital.
In Athalia Kwansa, Joy News, Takwa.
That'll be all for me. My name is Gifty Andopia. Gary L. Smith is standing by with sports.
In recent times, Ghanaian athletes have failed to win laurels during international competition. Last month, we brought you a documentary on how the country won gold in the 1964 Commonwealth Games. but that success is yet to be replicated. We spoke to the Ghana Athletics Association for answers, and Bawa Fuseni, Secretary of the association, has spoken about how and why this has happened. We showed you that later. Moving on to yet another story in football this time. Accra Heart of Oak have signed a partnership deal with Star Life Insurance. They call it the Phobia Assure. Now, in this deal, what happens is that if you're a Heart of Oak supporter and you are registered to be a supporter of the club, automatically you are insured. Not just that, the company's insurance policies are given to Phobian supporters who are registered with discounts also.
The group signed a 5-year agreement with the 2009-2010 Ghana Premier League champions that would see about 1,000 fans of the club earn employment. Head of Group Business and Alternative Channels, Alexander Chumesi, revealed the motivation behind the partnership.
We have over the years observed that the clubs in Ghana have really not told the strategic way we have been looking at. As if we are stuck to the old conservative way of doing things. We have fans who come to the stadium, watch a match, they get to win and jubilate, and that ends it. There isn't any added value to the fan. That's the supporter. I mean, that ends it. He goes home either happy or unhappy because the club lost. That shouldn't be. Or to the extent of selling just paraphernalias. It shouldn't end there. We should go to the extent of adding more value to the funds. And the value addition is what we are coming in to offer.
Various products sold by Star Life to the fans of Accra House of Oak would see the club earn a commission from the sales.
The problem of payment in terms of salaries to players have always been a challenge. So we shouldn't allow this to continue. For how long can we allow this? If there is the insurgence of this COVID, it will be a big blow to the clubs here in Ghana. So whilst at home, whilst the playing isn't ongoing, we should have a strategic way of even paying our players by encouraging our fans to purchase the products. Any of these products will assure House of Oak of its commission on monthly basis, and this commission will go a long way to alleviate the problem of the clubs.
Communications Director Kwame Opare-Addo admonished supporters to patronize the products for the betterment of the club.
Under this agreement, we have the 4 products that they have explained extensively already. Once, as a club, as a people that we say House of Oak is the team that we love, immediately you patronize it, we are going to get part of the money that you have paid to Star Life. And as we get part of all the products that everybody patronizes, it is going to increase our finances. We'll be able to do more than we are doing now, and it is going to eventually ensure that the brand that we've always wanted to grow, to get to that higher limit that we've all been waiting for, we'll definitely get there.
As part of the partnership, Accra House of Oak got a 48-seater bus.
Right, moving on, still at Heart, and media reports have suggested that Heart of Oak has rejected a $200,000 offer from Qatari club Al Sayya for their striker Kofi Koji. The communications director of Opare-Addo, who you just heard, has described the reports as false. He spoke to Joy Sports Muftal Nabila Abdullahi, and he has filed this report.
The House of Oak striker reportedly got a deal from Qatar that was worth $200,000. However, the Phobia leadership decided to reject the offer, according to media reports. Communications director of the club, Kwame Opare-Addo, has been explaining to Joy Sports about the details of the offer that came in for the striker.
A club from Qatar sent an expressed interest in our player Kofi Koji, right? And then in that interest that they sent to us, there was nothing like we want to pay 1 cedi, 2 cedi, 3 cedi, and 4 cedis. So we got back to them that, look, if you want to have Kofi Koji to join your team, these are the things that we think that if you are able to do, we will be able to release the player to you. So we sent out to them that we have two options. You pay $150,000 plus 30% onward transfer, or you pay $200,000 plus 20% onward transfer. So you decide which one you want. And some people have decided to make noise about it. You and I, if you have your RAM, whatever, in the house that somebody comes to buy it, and that individual says that, look, I want this, would you just say that, okay, take it away, without negotiating?
The media have claimed that Kofi Koji have asked the leadership of Accra House of Oak to permit him to depart from the club. Kwame Opare says the club will not prevent any player from moving on if he so desires.
When this offer came in, we didn't keep it away from the player. Through the, with the instructions of the CEO, I called the player, came to the office, he met the CEO. The CEO told him that this is the offer that you have, but we are discussing with them. We want the good for you, your player, and the best for the club as well. So once we arrive at a logical conclusion, why would we keep you? We will not.
Oftentimes, you would expect the club that is showing interest to make an offer for you to counter offer. At this point, you're telling us that they did not express interest in paying 1 cedi or 2 cedi, but you rather decided to tell them what to do.
Yes. Let me put it this way. When they brought their letter, right, there were no financial terms in it. They followed up with verbal submission of the price they want to give, and that's not the way for us to go. If you follow anything verbal with us, we don't see that as coming from a professional club. You need to put it on paper, make it very official, then we can also respond to it.
Verbal of how much?
Verbal of that, I think 150, 120, 150. I have to be very sure about that.
Kofi Koji joined Accra House of Oak prior to the start of the 2019-2020 Ghana Premier League season and scored 5 goals for the Phobians.
And that's it for the sport. Thank you very much for your time. Please head over to our Instagram to check out what is going on with our Premier League countdown. Also, tomorrow we have a special program with Hans Mensah Ando at 10 p.m. You can find that on our Instagram at Joy Sports GH. Gary Smith here. Thank you for your time.
And that's how we wrap up a Joy News Prime tonight. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. On behalf of the rest of the team, have a great one.